NBC 10 at Issue.
NBC 10 at Issue continues. Pat Toomey graduated from Harvard University. He worked in the financial sector for several years, left that and opened some restaurants with his brothers. He served 3 terms in Congress from the Lehigh Valley as a former president of the limited government free enterprise advocacy group, the Club for Growth, and joins me again. Congressman, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Good idea or bad idea? Extending jobless benefits for the unemployed.
Well, extending them beyond the initial
now.
26 is necessary under some circumstances. Beyond the 99 weeks that it got to, that's tough.
Eliminating corporate income taxes as a goal.
No, that's one of the things that Joe has completely misrepresented. I've long argued that since we have the second highest corporate tax rate in the industrial world at 35%.
Yeah, most people don't pay that, though. Most corporations pay 35%.
A lot of them do on the marginal dollar, and that's very important. I want to lower it to 25 so that we can compete better with our major trading partners. 25% is the top
Another
rate
issue
that I think we should have.
brought up is hate crime legislation an example of unnecessary federal legislation?
I think it's my problem with it is the intent behind it is to get into somebody's mind and decide what were they thinking at the time a crime was committed, and to try to make a judgment that way I think is a mistake. I want to vigorously prosecute crimes that are actually committed. I think that's why I have the support of the state troopers and the FOP and the Philadelphia FOP.
Do you want to eliminate or amend the provision of the 14th Amendment that says if you're born here, you're a citizen?
I'm not interested in tinkering with the Constitution. I think that's something we should take very, very cautiously.
NPR this week fired commentator Juan Williams for a remark he made about how he feels when getting on an airplane and seeing people in Muslim garb. Is NPR's action, which is seen as intolerant by some, an example of why federal funding for NPR should be stopped?
Well, I'm not familiar enough with the circumstances there, but I think we've got a very robust competition in the electronic media.
Funding generally?
I think the private sector can handle the radio and TV industry pretty well.
No Social Security COLA increase next year. Democrats want to do a one-time $250 check to seniors. Good idea, bad idea?
I think that's an election year gimmick. I think one of the problems we've got is a monetary policy that has 0 interest rate. So seniors who've saved money and have deposits at banks, they're earning no interest right now. That's a real problem.
Many experts say that 20 to 30% of the expenditures in medicine don't really have positive outcomes for the patients. How do you get a handle on that?
Well, honestly, I think tort reform is a big part of it, because that percent probably corresponds very well to the doctors practicing defensive medicine, ordering tests and procedures that aren't really necessary. They're doing it to protect themselves from liability. If we diminish that risk of liability, they wouldn't feel the need to order unnecessary procedures.
Should Jerusalem become an international city, a multinational city, as part of a final overall peace agreement?
Well, Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and I think the Israelis need to make that decision. I think, frankly, the United States should move its embassy to Israel. Every other country in the world is allowed to select the city in which we will house our embassy. Right. We should put it there.
The Tea Party wants more control of some things returned to the states. What do you think the states would be better to have more control of now that they don't have?
Well, I'm not sure there's a lot of big, broad categories, but I mean, just as a general matter, I think it's very useful to keep government decisions as close to the people as you possibly can. You can hold a local official more accountable than you can hold a congressman or a U.S. senator. You can hold a state representative more accountable than you can a federal official. So,
could we count on you if you getting in cutting defense spending?
I would look for opportunities to reduce waste in the defense budget, and there is waste there. But I've got to tell you, I mean, the first priority has got to be to make sure men and women in harm's way have all the resources they need to get the job done. But the Pentagon's budget overall can't be off limits.
Just have about 25, 30 seconds left. Give you the last word. Why Pat Toomey on November 2nd?
Fundamentally, this very liberal government, of which Joe Sestak is a very extreme member, has taken us down the wrong path. All the bailouts, the spending, the government-run health care, huge tax increases. These things are preventing us from having the kind of economic recovery we could be having and we should be having. I'll work to rein that in, to limit spending, to encourage job growth in the private sector.
Pat Toomey, thank you very much, sir. Be safe on the trail. Good luck on election day.
Thank you.
Coming up, Congressman Joe Sestak.